You know what's worse than finding out your husband cheated on you? Finding out he did it with your own sister, in your bed, while you were at your mother's funeral. Yeah, let that sink in. But here's the thing, what I did after finding out. It changed everything, and I mean everything. My name is Sarah, and 6 months ago, I thought I had the perfect life. A husband who loved me, a sister I'd die for, and a family that actually got along during holidays. Turns out, I was living in a fantasy world while everyone else was writing a completely different story. Let me take you back to where it all started falling apart. My mom died on a Tuesday, cancer. It was fast and brutal, and I was destroyed. My husband, Marcus, told me he had to stay home because of an important work deadline. He seemed genuinely sorry about it, kissed my forehead, and promised he'd hold down the fort while I went to say goodbye to my mom. My sister, Jennifer, said she couldn't make it either. Something about a job interview she'd been waiting months for. She cried on the phone, told me she loved Mom so much, but this opportunity could change her life. I believed them both. I'm such an idiot, right? So I drove 3 hours to my hometown, held my mom's hand as she took her last breath, and cried myself empty. My dad was a mess. My aunts were there. Cousins I hadn't seen in years showed up. But my husband and my sister, nowhere. The funeral was on Friday. I came home Thursday night because I forgot the dress I wanted to bury Mom in. It was at my house, in the back of my closet. I wasn't supposed to be home. I was supposed to stay at Dad's place until after the service. But I came home. I pulled into my driveway at almost midnight. And that's when I saw her car, Jennifer's white Honda Civic, parked right there like it belonged. My first thought wasn't suspicion. I actually smiled. I thought, oh, she came to check on Marcus. What a sweet sister. The front door was unlocked. The house was dark except for a light coming from upstairs, from my bedroom. I still didn't get it. I walked up those stairs thinking maybe Jennifer was helping Marcus pick out a tie for the funeral. Maybe they were going through photos of Mom to make a slideshow. I opened my bedroom door, and there they were. I'm not going to describe what I saw in detail because honestly, the image is burned into my brain forever, and I wouldn't wish it on anyone. But let's just say there was no confusion about what was happening. Marcus saw me first. His face went white, like all the blood just drained out of his body in 1 second. Jennifer screamed and grabbed the sheets. My sheets. The ones my grandmother embroidered for me as a wedding gift. I didn't scream. I didn't cry. I didn't throw things or yell or any of the stuff you see in movies. I just stood there, completely numb. Sarah, I can explain, Marcus said, jumping out of bed. Those 4 words. The most useless words in the English language. I turned around and walked out, got in my car, drove back to my dad's house. The entire 3-hour drive, I was on autopilot. My mom was dead. My husband was sleeping with my sister. My sister was sleeping with my husband. While I was watching our mother die. The calls started immediately. 53 calls from Marcus, 31 from Jennifer. I turned my phone off and focused on burying my mother. At the funeral, I was alone. Dad kept asking where Marcus was, where Jennifer was. I told him they got sick, food poisoning. He believed me because why wouldn't he? His wife just died. He didn't need more pain. After we buried Mom, I finally listened to the voicemails. Marcus, baby, please, it was a mistake. It meant nothing. I love you, only you. Please come home so we can talk. Jennifer, Sarah, I'm so sorry. I don't know what happened. We were drunk. It was one time. Please forgive me. You're my sister. I love you. One time. They said it was one time. Here's the thing about liars. They only admit to what you can prove. I may have been heartbroken, but I wasn't stupid. When I got home, Marcus was there, crying, begging. He got on his knees, actual knees on the ground. Promised it was a one-time mistake. Said Jennifer came over, they had wine, they were talking about how sad it was about my mom, and things just happened. I looked him in the eyes and said, "Get out. Sarah, please, get out." He left, went to his brother's place, kept texting me every hour. I ignored all of it. This is where most people would lawyer up and file for divorce, right? But I needed to know the truth, the whole truth. My best friend, Monica, came over. She's an IT specialist and she's brilliant. I told her everything. She hugged me for a long time and then said, "Do you want to know how long this has been going on?" I nodded. She picked up Marcus's laptop. He left it when I kicked him out. 15 minutes later, Monica had access to everything. His emails, his messages, his cloud storage. What we found made that night I walked in on them look like nothing. 2 years. They'd been doing this for 2 years. There were emails going back to before Marcus and I even got married, photos, videos, messages talking about me, laughing about me. Jennifer called me clueless Sarah in one text. Marcus responded with a laughing emoji. There were messages from the week of my mom's diagnosis. Jennifer, she's going to be so busy with her mom, we'll have more time together. Marcus, finally something good comes from this situation. They joked about my mother's cancer being convenient for their affair. I threw up. Right there, reading those messages, I ran to the bathroom and threw up everything in my stomach. Monica held my hair back and then sat me down on the bathroom floor. What do you want to do? She asked. I want them to hurt like I'm hurting. Then let's make that happen. Here's what you need to understand about me. I'm an accountant. I work with numbers, patterns, and details. I'm patient. I'm thorough. And when I commit to something, I see it through. I wasn't going to scream and break things. I wasn't going to post angry Facebook rants. I was going to be smart about this. First, I called Marcus. Told him I was ready to talk. His relief was almost pathetic. Really? Oh, baby, thank you. Thank you so much. I promise I'll make this right. Come over tomorrow. We'll talk about everything. He showed up with flowers. Roses. I'm allergic to roses. We'd been together for 6 years and he brought me flowers I'm allergic to. I let him in, made tea, sat down across from him. I want to understand, I said calmly. Help me understand how this happened. He went into this whole story, said Jennifer came on to him, that he was weak, that he tried to stop it but she was persistent. He blamed her for everything. I recorded all of it. Then I called Jennifer, told her I wanted to hear her side. She came over the next day also with flowers, daisies this time, also crying. Her story was different. She said Marcus seduced her, that he told her I was cold and distant, that their marriage was falling apart, that he was planning to leave me anyway. She said she thought she was in love with him. I recorded that too. 2 completely different stories, each of them throwing the other under the bus to save themselves. Perfect. I told Marcus I needed time, but I was considering forgiveness. I told Jennifer the same thing separately. I said I couldn't talk to both of them together yet, but I was working through it. They both believed me. They both thought they were going to get away with it. Meanwhile, I was busy. I pulled all of our financial records. Marcus and I had joint accounts, a house, investments. I documented everything, made copies, sent them to my lawyer. I went through Marcus's laptop more thoroughly, found out he'd been using our joint credit card to buy Jennifer gifts, jewelry, lingerie, hotel rooms, thousands of dollars of my money spent on his affair with my sister. I made spreadsheets, because that's what I do. Then I planned the gathering. 3 weeks after my mom's funeral, I called a family dinner, told everyone I had something important to announce, and I needed everyone there to support me through a difficult time. My dad came. My 2 brothers came with their wives, my aunts, my cousins, even my grandmother flew in. I told Marcus to come, told him I was ready to announce that we were working on our marriage and I needed family support. I told Jennifer the same thing, said I was announcing my forgiveness and wanted her there. They both showed up. The look on Jennifer's face when she saw Marcus walk in was priceless. The look on his face when he saw her was even better. They both turned to me with confused expressions. Everyone settled in. Dad asked what the big announcement was. I stood up, took a deep breath. Thank you all for coming, I said. The last few weeks have been the hardest of my life. Losing Mom was devastating, but I learned something important during this time. I learned who really has my back, who's really loyal. Jennifer looked nervous. Marcus looked pale. I also learned, I continued, who's been lying to me, who's been betraying me, and for how long. I pulled out my laptop. What's going on, Sarah? My dad asked. Dad, I'm sorry you have to see this, but everyone in this room needs to know the truth. I opened the first email, projected it on our TV screen. It was from Marcus to Jennifer, dated 3 years ago, before our wedding. Can't wait to see you tonight. Sarah's working late again. She has no idea. I watched my family read it, watch their faces change. Sarah, Jennifer started. Sit down, I said. My voice was ice. You'll get your turn. I showed them everything. Not the explicit photos or videos, I'm not cruel, but the messages, the timeline, the receipts from hotels, the jewelry purchases. I showed them the messages from the week Mom was diagnosed. Watched my dad's face crumble when he read them joking about cancer being convenient. My brothers stood up. My older brother, Jake, looked at Marcus like he wanted to kill him. "You need to leave," Jake said to Marcus. "Right now." Marcus was crying. "I'm sorry, I'm so sorry. Sarah, please." "Show them the recordings," Monica said. She'd been sitting quietly in the corner. I played Marcus's recording. Him blamming everything on Jennifer, calling her the seducer, saying she was obsessed with him. Then I played Jennifer's recording, her blamming Marcus, saying he manipulated her. The room was silent except for the recordings. When they finished, my younger brother, David, looked at Jennifer. "Get out of this house," he said. "David, please, I'm your sister." "No," I interrupted. "I'm your sister, and you slept with my husband while our mother was dying. You don't get to use that word anymore." My grandmother, who's 92 and usually the sweetest woman alive, looked at Jennifer with pure disgust. "Your mother would be ashamed," she said quietly. That broke Jennifer. She started sobbing, reaching for Dad. Dad stepped back. He actually stepped away from her. "How could you?" he whispered. "Your sister, your own sister." Marcus tried to approach me. Jake physically stepped between us. "You need to leave before I do something I'll regret," Jake said. "This is my house," Marcus said stupidly. "Actually," I said, pulling out papers, "according to this deed, it's my house. Bought with my inheritance from my grandfather before we got married. You have no legal claim to it. And these papers here are divorce papers. You're being served." My cousin, who's a process server, handed him the official documents. "You're also being sued," I continued, "for the $47,000 you spent of our joint account money on your affair. I have every receipt. My lawyer says I'll win easily." Marcus's face went from white to gray. "And Jennifer," I turned to my sister, "remember that job you're starting next month, the one at Patterson and Associates?" She nodded, confused. "Mr. Patterson is my client, has been for 5 years. I do all their corporate accounting. I had lunch with him yesterday, told him all about your character, showed him some of the messages. He was particularly interested in the ones where you talked about lying on your resume." Jennifer's eyes went wide. "You didn't. The job offer was withdrawn this morning. You should check your email." She grabbed her phone, started scrolling. I watched the moment she found the rejection email. "You destroyed my career," she screamed. "No," I said calmly. "You destroyed your career when you slept with your sister's husband for 2 years and thought there would be no consequences. But this dinner isn't just about exposing you too," I said, looking around at my real family. "It's about showing what actual loyalty looks like." I pulled out another folder. "Dad, you've been struggling since Mom got sick. All her medical bills. I know you took out a second mortgage. I paid it off. The house is yours free and clear." My dad started crying. "Jake, you mentioned your daughter needs braces but insurance won't cover it. I called your orthodontist. It's handled." Jake looked at me with tears in his eyes. "David, that business you wanted to start but couldn't get a loan, I'm investing. We'll be partners." I went around the room. My aunt who needed a new car, my cousin who was struggling with student loans, my grandmother who wanted to fix her roof. I'd taken the money I'd been saving for the future with Marcus money he didn't even know about, and used it to help every single person in that room who'd ever been there for me. "This is what loyalty looks like," I said, looking at Marcus and Jennifer. "Taking care of the people who take care of you, being there when it matters, choosing family over selfishness." My dad stood up and hugged me, then Jake, then David, then everyone. We stood there, a circle of actual family, while Marcus and Jennifer sat separate, alone, exactly as they deserve. "Sarah," Jennifer said, her voice small, "I know I messed up, but I'm your sister, blood. That has to mean something." I looked at her for a long moment. "You're right, blood means something. Mom's blood meant something. The same blood running through both of our veins that came from the woman who died while you were sleeping with my husband. That blood, it means I knew you your whole life. I braided your hair. I taught you to ride a bike. I helped you with homework. I was your maid of honor when you married Travis, remember him? Your actual husband that you're still married to, by the way." Jennifer's face went even paler. "Oh, did you forget about Travis?" I asked. "He's deployed overseas right now, serving our country, thinking his wife is faithful. Should we call him? Tell him what you've been up to?" "Please don't," Jennifer whispered. "Why not? Don't you think he deserves the truth, like I deserve the truth?" Marcus stood up. "Sarah, you've made your point. You've humiliated us both. Can we please just—" "Humiliated you?" I laughed. It wasn't a nice laugh. "I haven't even started. See, here's what's going to happen. Marcus, you're going to sign those divorce papers and agree to my terms. You'll leave with nothing but your personal belongings. You won't contest it. You won't fight it. Because if you do, I'll make sure every single person in your professional life knows what you did. Your boss, he goes to my church. Your biggest client, she's my mentor, your brother who you're staying with. I already told him everything. He called me yesterday to apologize for you. Marcus sat back down. And Jennifer, I continued, you have a choice. You can tell Travis yourself or I can tell him, but he's going to know. He's going to know that while he was serving our country, you were betraying him, just like you betrayed me. I'll tell him, she whispered. I'll tell him myself. Good, you have 24 hours. If I don't hear from Travis by this time tomorrow, I'm calling him myself. What about everyone else? She asked. Are you going to tell the whole family, our friends? I don't need to tell anyone anything, I said. Everyone who matters is in this room. They know. What you do with that information is up to you. But if anyone asks me directly, I won't lie. I'm done protecting people who hurt me. My grandmother spoke up again. Sarah showed us grace by not sharing the worst of what you did. If it were up to me, your photos would be on every street corner. You should thank her for having more class than you deserve. I walked to the door and opened it. Both of you need to leave now. Jennifer stood up, crying. Sarah, please, you're really never going to forgive me. We're sisters. We were sisters, you made a choice. Every single day for 2 years, you made that choice. At my wedding when you hugged me and said congratulations. At Christmas when we exchanged gifts. At Mom's birthday party. Every single time you choose this. People make mistakes. Mistakes are things that happen once. This was a decision. Multiple decisions. Hundreds of them. You don't get to call it a mistake now that you're caught. Marcus tried one more time. I really did love you, Sarah. I still do. No, I said. You loved what I gave you, the home I made, the money I earned, the respectability. You loved having your cake and eating it too, but you never loved me because you don't hurt people you love like this. They walked out, I closed the door, and then I broke down, completely fell apart. But this time I was surrounded by people who actually loved me. Dad held me while I cried. Jake rubbed my back. My aunts brought me tissues. Monica made tea. That was 6 months ago. The divorce was finalized last month. Marcus signed everything I demanded. He didn't have a choice, really. All the evidence was against him. He lost his job. Turns out his boss didn't appreciate him using company time and company trips to conduct his affair. Who knew? Jennifer did tell Travis. He filed for divorce immediately and came to see me when he got back stateside. We got coffee. He apologized even though he had nothing to apologize for. We both loved people who didn't deserve it. There's a weird bond in that. Jennifer moved to another state. Couldn't handle facing the family. She sends emails sometimes. I delete them without reading. Marcus tried to date someone new. She Googled him, found out what happened, small towns talk, and dumped him on the second date. Some people say I went too far, that I was too harsh, too calculated, too cold. To those people, I say, you didn't find your husband in bed with your sister while your mother's body was barely cold. You didn't read messages joking about your mother's cancer. You didn't spend 6 years building a life with someone only to find out it was all a lie. I did what I had to do to survive, to take back my power, to show them that actions have consequences. But here's the real ending, the part that actually matters. Last week was what would have been my mom's birthday. Dad organized a small memorial, just close family. We gathered at her grave, shared stories, laughed at memories, cried together. Jennifer wasn't there. For the first time in my life, a major family event happened and my sister wasn't there. And you know what? It was peaceful. No tension. No wondering if she's talking behind my back. No fake smiles, just real family, real love, real loyalty. After, we went to Dad's house. I helped him cook Mom's favorite meal. My brothers helped set the table. We ate together, talked about everything and nothing. David told us about his business that's already turning a profit. Jake showed us photos of his daughter's new smile, braces gleaming. Dad talked about maybe traveling now that the house was paid off. You gave us all a gift, Dad said, looking at me. Not the money, that helped, don't get me wrong. But you showed us what your mother always tried to teach you girls. That family isn't just blood, it's choice, it's showing up, it's loyalty. He paused, getting emotional. Your mother would be so proud of how you handled this. Not the revenge part, maybe. She'd probably say you were a bit harsh. He smiled. But the way you kept your head up, the way you turned your pain into something good for others, the way you protected yourself while still being generous, that's strength, that's character. I've changed since all this happened. I'm not the same Sarah who believed everyone at their word, who trusted blindly, who put others before herself to her own detriment. I'm harder now in some ways, more careful. I don't open up easily. I question things I wouldn't have before. But I'm also stronger, more confident. I know my worth now. I know I deserve people who choose me consistently, not just when it's convenient. I sold the house. Too many bad memories. Bought a condo downtown with a view of the city. It's smaller, but it's mine. Every piece of furniture, every decoration, every decision mine. I got a promotion at work. Turns out when you're not emotionally destroyed by a cheating husband, you perform better. Who knew? I started therapy. Best decision I ever made. My therapist helped me work through the betrayal, the anger, the grief of losing my mom and my sister and my marriage all at once. I joined a support group for people dealing with infidelity, heard stories that made mine look tame, met people who'd been betrayed by partners, best friends, family members. We helped each other heal. These days, my life looks different than I imagined it would. At 32, I'm divorced, estranged from my sister, and living alone. But I'm also happy. Actually happy, not pretend happy. I go to dinner with Monica every Tuesday. We're planning a trip to Italy next year. I have Sunday breakfast with Dad every week. We're thinking about writing a cookbook of Mom's recipes. Jake and I take his kids to the park every other Saturday. They call me Aunt Sarah the Great, which makes me laugh every time. David and I meet twice a month to discuss business. He's teaching me about entrepreneurship. I'm teaching him about finance. It's fun. I even started dating. Nothing serious yet. But I went on a date last week with a guy named Tom. He's a teacher, kind eyes, makes me laugh. When he asked about my past relationship, I was honest. Told him the whole story. He didn't run. He said, "Sounds like you handled it perfectly. Anyone who survives that and comes out stronger is someone worth knowing." We have a second date planned. I know people want me to say I forgave them, that I'm working on rebuilding relationships with Marcus and Jennifer, that I took the high road. But here's the truth. Some things aren't forgivable. And that's okay. Forgiveness isn't required for healing. You can heal and still maintain boundaries. You can move forward without bringing the people who hurt you along. The high road isn't always forgiveness. Sometimes it's protecting yourself, setting standards, refusing to accept mistreatment. I don't wish them harm. I don't think about them much anymore, honestly. They're just people I used to know who showed me exactly who they were. I believed them, and I acted accordingly. What I did wasn't really about revenge. It was about truth, about making sure everyone knew what happened so I wasn't carrying their shame, about taking back control of my narrative. They wanted to keep it quiet, work it out, move past it. That would have required me to carry their secret, to protect them from consequences, to minimize my pain for their comfort. I refused. If you're watching this and you've been betrayed, here's what I want you to know. You don't owe anyone forgiveness. You don't owe anyone silence. You don't owe anyone your pain. What happened to you matters. Your feelings matter. Your healing matters. People will tell you to take the high road, to be the bigger person, to forgive and forget. Those people usually aren't the ones who got hurt. Do what you need to do to survive, to heal, to move forward. If that means cutting people off, do it. If that means exposing the truth, do it. If that means burning bridges, burn them. You can build new bridges with better people on the other side. But also, and this is important, don't let their betrayal turn you bitter. Don't let it close you off completely. Don't let them take your ability to trust, to love, to hope. Use the anger. Let it fuel you. Let it push you to build a better life. And then, when you're ready, let it go. Not for them, for you. Because carrying anger is exhausting, and they're not worth your energy. Last thing I'll say, that dinner where I exposed everything, that wasn't the moment that defined me. You want to know what really mattered? It was a week later. I was at the grocery store and I saw them, Marcus and Jennifer, together, in the produce section. They weren't hiding anymore. Apparently, since everything was out in the open, they decided to just be together officially. My heart jumped. My hands shook. For a second, I thought about running, or confronting them, or breaking down. But then I realized something. I didn't care. Not in a bitter, I'm pretending not to care way. I genuinely didn't care who they were with or what they were doing. They had zero impact on my life anymore. I finished my shopping, walked right past them to checkout, and left. I didn't look back. That was my victory, not the exposure, not the consequences I brought down on them. But the moment I realized they no longer had power over me, they're living their life. Good for them. I hope they're happy. I really do. Because their happiness or unhappiness has nothing to do with me anymore. I'm living my life, and it's a good one. Better than before, honestly, because it's built on truth, on real relationships, on people who choose me every day. So yeah, my husband slept with my sister while my mother was dying, and I showed everyone what true loyalty really looks like. Not blind trust, not silent forgiveness, but fierce protection of yourself and the people who actually deserve your love. That's the story, that's the truth, and that's how I won. Not by destroying them, though I'll admit that felt good in the moment, but by building a life so good, so full, so genuine that their betrayal became just a chapter in my story. Not the ending, just a chapter. And the chapters I'm writing now, they're so much better. Because here's what I learned. The best revenge isn't what you do to them, it's who you become without them.